correct it. Although with middle school kids, they'll come up with new ways to misspell things. So. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got a couple people still.
Will they be here by now?
No, I'm finishing the form. Well, one thing about another thing is if you're giving like a quiz or an assignment, you can see if someone's actually finished it. You can tell right now that we have Justin, Joe, Grant, Dylan, and Troy are done, which means that.
I'm done. I submitted mine.
Did you?
So did I. I'll do it
I
again.
did too. I'll do it again.
That's interesting.
And I did it again.
Yeah. I did it again and it's still. Is it supposed to do something different on your screen after you're done?
I submitted mine also.
Did I not answer a question right?
Did it?
I didn't put A in or B in.
Oh, I didn't do that either.
If you click submit, all these are required. I'll show you that too. They're all required questions. So if you didn't finish,
Where'd you put the A?
Oh,
like
okay.
if you miss
Yeah,
like
I
an
did
option
put
on
it in.
one, it'll show it in red instead of it won't submit it, which is something to make sure you let your
Oh, yeah.
students know too. If you're making questions required, and they mess up, they click submit, it'll still be on the form and it won't say completed. If you do complete it, it'll say I think this is form complete or your submission complete or something, something like that.
I can't let it, it won't let me put PM.
Click on this little.
Yeah, it just changes the time, but there's no AM, PM.
That's
Can you
what
type
we
it?
got for the middle school
No,
science
it doesn't
science.
let me.
That yellow, right on the
Oh,
board there. Right. Oh.
Thank you.
Right beside. That we got. No.
And that might not be an option for a question that you use in the classroom. I just wanted to,
No, it is.
like if you're doing a survey or something and you want to know what time works for people or something, that might be a chance to use that.
Yeah.
Oh.
The beginning part's the
Yes,
same,
please restart that.
but their C range is very large.
Okay. Then hang on.
And their D
All right.
range is 11.
So we got,
We should have 97.
everyone is submitted. So I'm gonna quickly talk about using Google Forms. Now you should all have access to in your shared with you files. If you go into your Drive, you have to log into your Google Drive. You log into your Google Drive and click on your shared with me. You should have something that says, I think it's called Awesome Form Responses. You know if you have that or not. In your-
You just shared it with us?
It's supposed to automatically share it with you.
In the share?
I don't know.
No, I don't have it.
I don't have it either.
That's all shared with you.
Or is it in your Drive? No?
For what now? Shared with you?
In my drive or my share.
What if you didn't click
I-
email my responses?
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I didn't click that.
I didn't click that either.
No, that shouldn't matter, but I'm wondering if I didn't, let's see here. Oh, is there anyone still on the submission? Anyone still have the
I got the thanks thing.
thanks thing? Does it say to view responses?
Previous responses?
Yeah. Does that show? See previous responses, what does that show? Okay, maybe it's not gonna show. I thought it might. But when you make one of these, you have your edit. Which is where you make it. This is what I'm in, that's what I'm showing right now. This is what I do where I can edit it. You have your live form, so when you're making it, you can see exactly what the students are going to see after you've made it. And then you also can see the responses, which are going to show what is, like, everything that's been answered, all right? So those are a couple options, and then that's all just at the very top when you're making it, you know, at the top here. Maybe the easiest thing to do would for everyone to go into your Google Drive and go to New, More, and then just open up a Google Form so you can kind of go through the same things that I'm showing if you wanted to make one for yourself or for your classroom, as I'm kind of showing you how these are made.
So we went to new and then Google what?
New, and then I think you have to go to, in mine you have to go to more, so you might have to go to more.
Okay.
More, and then go to Google Forms, so you can kind of see the.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you all the different questions that you can make, and if you wanted to practice making one of them as I'm showing you, you are welcome to do so. So then you should have a, when you start, I'll start a new one too, so you can all. When you start, there's a couple things you want to make sure that you do. Obviously, you want to give it a name at some point. If you want to change the name, that's up here. You just click on that untitled form and change it to whatever. But I always do that right away so I don't forget. Or else I'm going to have, 5 different things called untitled form 1, 2, 3, or whatever. So I'll just call it Google Form. The top left. Right up here is where you change the title, whatever, and that'll automatically change it down there as well. Another really important thing that you don't want to make the mistake of in forgetting is when I first started this, I sent out the form to the kids and they all finished it, and so I got all these great responses, but I realized I had 0 names attached to any of them. So I had all those responses and nothing. So it was pretty useless to me. So my first period, I obviously didn't give them a grade because I had all these responses and I had nothing. So there's 2 ways to make sure you get their name, and you can do one or both of them. I usually do both just to be safe. You click on this little thing right here, the automatically collect respondents Grand Forks Public Schools username. That will give you their email address, and you can easily figure that out, assuming you don't have 2 kids with the exact same name or similar name. That'll show you their email address, so that when you go to the, it'll have their username here, and you can pretty much figure out who it is that way. I also always have a spot, as you can see here, where they actually put their name, like last name, first name, or sometimes I'll put the period number too, so I can kind of organize them by period number. I didn't put period number here because we don't have periods, but you can also do period numbers so that you know, well, what period they're in, especially if they have submitted after the fact. Because they do keep them in order when you get the responses, in order of whenever they turned them in. So most of them, if you're doing it by classes, would be grouped, but if you have a student that doesn't finish and then finishes it later that day, you have that period number to help remind you where to go. So to make a question, you give it a title, and there's all the different kinds of types of questions that you can do. If you click on the question type, you have a paragraph text, which is what you would do if you wanted like an essay question. You got multiple choice, which obviously that's where you have 2 to 4 choices. Check boxes is what you want to use if there's more than one option. When the one that I had with the actors that were over 65, I think, that was the question I gave you. You can choose more than one. Multiple choice, you can only choose one. With the check boxes, that would be as if there's like 3 or 4 or more than one answer, you use the check boxes. But it's pretty much the same thing, just this is if you want more than one, that's if you can only do one. Choose from a list was the one I had. Why did you take this class? That's where like you get a little drop-down menu, and I had the options of I wanted to learn how to use Google Forms or I wanted to bug the teacher that is teaching it. Then you also have scale, which is if you want to do on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you with Google Forms? Grid was the one where I had that, the different options. How often do you eat lunch in the cafeteria, use technology in your classroom, and they have the often weekly. That was that one. And then you have the date and the time. The date was the one I asked about the age of your oldest relative, and the time is what time was lunch one. Which you have all kinds of options for different questions that you can use. The easiest ones to grade automatically, if that's what you're interested in saving a little time, would be the multiple choice and the check boxes. It's a little harder, obviously, when it's when you're doing a writing thing, because then if you want it to be automatically graded, you would have to put in all the possible spelling error options that they might do, which gets pretty tricky with middle school kids. But since I want this one to be a name one, I'm just gonna go text, and I'm just gonna type in like last name. Then and that's all you need for the question for that one. And if you want it to be required, which for the name you probably would, you're going to want to click on the required question button. That means that they can't submit it without answering that one. There might be times where they don't need to answer it. If it's an opinion, do you have anything else you wanted to add to this? It was your question or something, or any questions you have for me. You know, maybe where some kids may have a question and some might not. You can choose if you want to make it required or not. So I have the first question done, and I'm going to do a first name one too. First name. And again, make it required. I don't want to make it multiple choice, I want to make it a text. And I have those done. Now, once you make one question, or in this case two, and you wanted to add something, all you have to do is click on this add item, and it gives you all the options whether you wanted to make another type of question, these are your different questions, the text through the time, the ones I talked about, or you could add things like a section header or page break if you wanted to go to a completely different page. Yes, sorry, if I'm going too fast, let me know too.
No, you're not going too fast, but can I fix something? Because when I did my first name one, it gave me option 1 instead of a text box, so I clicked.
Absolutely.
How do I fix it?
If you make a mistake and you want it to change a question, all you have to do is if you hover over on the right-hand side, there's a little pencil or whatever you call it that says edit. You see how I'm over here, Renee?
Oh, yeah, got it.
Yep. And you click on edit, it'll open that question back up, and you can change the type of question again, or if you didn't have enough options or whatever, anything you want to change, you can do that. And if once you're done editing it, just click on done, and it'll save it.
We're good to go, thank you.
Another thing that's in the same place where that edit is, let's say that you were doing you're doing a question that has the exact same answer possibilities, but you're just going to change the question. Like let's say you had 5 possibilities, and you're going to use those exact same 5 options for the next one, and you don't have to retype all those. You just click on this little duplicate button. It'll duplicate that exact question. And so if you're just changing, one of the questions was, which of these is the largest country or something? And then you had 5 choices. And then on the next question, you want to be the smallest country, you could just duplicate that whole question and just change the word largest to smallest. And you wouldn't have to retype all those answer choices. So it would save you a little bit of time for that. If I want to duplicate that here, it's going to make that same first name option. If you don't like the question and you just want to start over or you want to get rid of it and you realize you don't need it, there's also this little trash button here to delete it. So when you're adding items, again, there's all those different question choices that you have, but again, there's also image and videos. I couldn't get I didn't put a video on just because there's so many different copyright things, but if you had a video that you took, I mean, it's pretty easy to insert it. Same thing for image. If you want to insert an image here, you just go to your albums and you can click on, whatever. I guess let's put a picture of Axel in there or whatever. And you have your picture. And that would be good if you wanted to, if you found a picture that you wanted to ask some questions about in a task or a survey or whatever. Okay. Any questions about just making the different types of questions, or I could show you how to make an example of any of those types of questions that you wanted to. But any questions about just physically inserting a question or deleting one